Hey guys, Wayback Rewind here. The video home system began in 1976. It was not the first system designed for the home, not even the second, but it was by far the most popular, dominating the market for over 3 decades. What made the video home system so popular? How was it able to beat out its rivals and become the dominant system for home video? Today I'm going to bring you the story of VHS. Coming up next, here on Wayback Rewind.
VHS wasn't the first home video format. That honor belongs to U-matic, which was introduced in 1971. Sony, JVC, and Matsushita, also known as Panasonic, all worked together to bring U-matic to the market. But U-matic was too expensive and bulky for the home market, and it failed. The 3 companies immediately went to work on a new home video format. JVC preferred an open standard with no licensing. Sony wanted their Betamax to become the new standard, and Panasonic went their own way. It was hoped that the 3 companies could work together on a single format as they did on U-matic, but this hope soon vanished. Betamax did beat the others to the market in 1975 and had great initial success with 100% of the home video market. JVC decided not to adopt the Sony system and to bring their own video home system to the market, and VHS debuted in 1976. VHS is a half-inch helical scan video cassette format, very similar to U-matic, but the tape goes in the opposite direction. The VHS cassette is smaller than U-matic, but it is also larger than the Betamax tape. Panasonic went their own way with the VX system. Sold in the US by Quasar as the Great Time Machine, it failed in the marketplace by 1977, and Panasonic switched to VHS. Sanyo introduced their own incompatible half-inch format in the same time frame. It too failed in the marketplace by 1977, and Sanyo switched to Betamax. But JVC had convinced many other companies to join them against Sony, leading to the video format wars of the late 70s. So why did VHS win the format war? The key requirement was that the tape had to have at least a 2-hour recording capacity was a huge factor. RCA had convinced JVC to add a 4-hour capability to VHS. The first VHS machine in the US had this 4-hour recording capability, compared to 2 for Betamax. VHS used a simplified loading path compared to U-matic or Beta. This made the machines less costly to manufacture. Also, VHS machines became even more affordable as additional manufacturers began making them without paying license fees. Many companies on Team Sony eventually switched to VHS. By 1987, VHS controlled 90% of the $5.25 billion VCR market. In 1988, Sony began making VHS machines, and the war was over. VHS machines came as portables that could be paired with cameras. I covered this in the time before camcorders. To compete with 8mm, JVC came up with the compact VHS. I covered this in the Not the Back to the Future camcorder.
Full-size VHS camcorders actually came after the compact versions. So I have 2 of the PV-200 full-size VHS camcorders. These came out in late 1985. The compact VHS actually beat them to the market, and you could play compact VHS tapes in a full-size VCR with the aid of this adapter, but apparently people couldn't be bothered to use these adapters and preferred having a tape they could play directly in these machines just by putting the tape in. Unfortunately, neither one of these work. This one mechanically works, kind of. This one The camera works, but the machine has some kind of an issue. It won't play. It tried to at one time, but it just makes a loud noise and then shuts off. But the camera actually will turn on. Kind of. We have here a pre-recorded tape. And now it's basically a VCR. Now this one is barely playing, but that's the idea, is that you can use this as a full-size player.
The final version of VHS was in combination with DVD recorders, and I covered this in video 74, VHS to DVD recorder. But the first VHS machines came as tabletop units, and I mentioned this before, the RCA VBT-200. And this was not originally planned for this video, but I couldn't resist the temptation to have a working model of the very first VCR to come to North America. So here it is. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the VBT-200, the first VHS machine sold in the United States. So the way the RCA numbering system works, T is for a tabletop VCR, B is the letter of introduction, this being 1977, 200 is the model number. So every year after that, for I don't know how long, the letter would increment 1 for each year, and T and P for the portables. So my VFP 170 came out in 1981 as a portable unit. This is the VBT 200. And its claim to fame was the LP button, which allowed it to record for 4 hours at a time when Beta could barely record 1, and then they went to Beta 2, which could record 2 hours. And JVC was convinced by RCA to double down and go to a 4-speed. And from 1977 and as early as 1981, VHS began to dominate the market. I've never actually seen one of these before, and now I actually own one. So let's turn it on. The motor sounds like it's struggling a little bit, but it is running. Let's try a tape. This tape needs to be rewound. It is rewinding. It's a good sign. So when this came out in 1977, I was still in high school, but my older brother actually bought one, and he only had it for about a week before the VCT 400 came out. It is rewinding. The VCT 400 had a more sophisticated tuner timer. It could record 4 events over 7 days versus this timer, which can only record 1 event and not even shut off itself. Wow, this is really old school. Time advance is like one lever. All right, let's press play. That loaded way faster than I expected.
Once upon a time, in a land far, far away.
And it is playing. Very nicely, I might say. That picture looks really good, actually. And so there you have it. From its humble beginnings in 1977, the story of VHS. It went on to dominate for 3 decades the home video market. If you found this interesting, please like or subscribe to my channel, and thank you for watching.